visited North Korea for about a decade, starting 2002. And I lived for 6 months undercover in 2011, living with the future leadership, 20-year-old young men in a locked compound, 270 of them. I was really after the psychology of how the upper class, the powers of North Korea really think. And, what I found was really a state that I, having pursued it and visited it for a decade, had never foreseen the depth of control. Before that, I'd also interviewed about over 100 defectors outside of North Korea, but nothing prepared me for the absoluteness of control and abuse that's within the system. So when you look at North Korea that way, the people inside have to change for this standstill to go anywhere. And for that standstill to go change, then we have to from the outside, instill that change inside. That's about the only option, because really, it's only going to get worse and worse. North Korea is not going to give up nuclear weapons. That's never going to happen. The only possibility that this could change would be a regime change, because the great leader system is so fundamental that is not going to moderate or lessen.
So you're saying it's just as reclusive as it was when you first went. But let me ask you, because we've been reading these stories about the relative opening up of the North Korean economy, more and more trade, even the beginnings of a sort of an in-house internet system. Could change not come from within?
To be honest, I was hearing them, even back in 2011 when I went in to live there. What I found was a system that was more reclusive than I ever imagined when I started researching seriously from 2002. This is a decade of watching North Korea. Also, I'm South Korean and fluent in the language. So it's a subject that is not at all foreign to me. I come from a family that's been separated by the Korean War. What I found inside, once you really go in the depth of North Korea, was that control so tight and so abusive. Outside, even then, people thought people were kind of using the internet, at least among the elite. My students were computer majors. They all told me they knew what the internet was. Living with them, you realize so much what it was propaganda. They had no idea. They were computer majors. Creme de la creme of North Korea had no idea what the internet was. The amount of lie that is being told to the outside world to keep up a facade of an openness was actually astounding. And I think that I had personally also didn't think it was as bad as what I found inside. So having seen that and experienced it, and that only happened because I was living with them embedded. I wasn't interviewing them. I was just living day to day with them, very intimately, sharing 3 meals a day with them, that I thought, how is this possibly going to change? There is no agency. There is no mode of power to group, to rise above, to do anything. Maybe the border area, which is far more fluid with the Chinese traffic. But when you go in the depth of North Korea, you realize why North Korea has been able to maintain this absurd, cruel, violating system of the great leader is because, which is basically a cult ideology. That's not a presidency. It's because it is so controlled. The amount, it's unheard of. Where citizens are not allowed to leave or anybody allowed to come in. This kind of system where you can hide the internet from 20-year-old young elite is beyond the idea of feminine gulag, the actual system of control is just tight, airtight.